Wind. One of, if not the most powerful and destructive elements. Aggressive, unpredictable, and hard to tame. But some people have the spirit to control the wind. And this character is truly the greatest to ever master it. That's right, RASHID is back, baby!
Oh, you mother...
And with this guide, we will take this Middle Eastern marvel and show what streaming and parkour can really do.
Parkour!
But before we do that, don't forget to help the channel out by liking, clicking, subscribing, tiring the bell thingy, and following me on the social medias for all your gaming needs. Now with that said, I am Tech, and this is my guide to being the best RASHID player you can possibly be.
Parkour!
Probably. Now RASHID is a rushdown character. He's all about getting in close and making the opponent guess. This is all enhanced with his unique mechanic dub, wind riding. So after certain attacks, RASHID will create a small whirlwind that will linger for a short window of time. This whirlwind will enhance RASHID's movement and certain specials whilst he's inside it. Jumps, dashes, all get a boost in their range. This allows RASHID to link up with options he normally couldn't do otherwise. This also goes hand in hand with RASHID's other movement options. First, his unique mechanic, run. During a normal dash, if you hold down the forward button, RASHID will go into a Tekken style sprint, offering two different finishes. First, the punch attack, back up. This move has varying levels of block stun, meaning that if you just manage to land it, you'll be safe, but if they block you point blank, you die. It's also low profile, meaning it can go under projectiles with good frame advantage on paper, but in execution leaves you too far away to take advantage of it. The kick option Tempest Moon is okay, a great extension option, albeit situational. Unsafe on block, no knockback, and some okay hit advantage, but when used when riding the wind, this will make it worse on block, but on hit will pop the opponent just enough to get an extension. Seriously, this is a major screen carry option. Now before we talk about the normals, let's add his last two unique movement options. Firstly, RASHID is one of the very few characters who can wall jump. So jump at a wall, then jump the opposite way, and RASHID will jump off said wall. Not much to really say, it's great for messing up the opponent's rhythm, and could potentially give you a side switch with the right chance. Or they could just punch you out of it every freaking time. Lastly, he has a gap closer, in the form of side flip, where RASHID will flip forward. If you've seen Blanka's surprise hop, it's in that line. However, unlike Blanka, RASHID can't special cancel this, so it doesn't have the mix-up option, but it does switch sides when point blank next to the opponent, and thus becomes a decent option to take the corner off your drive impacts. It also leads into front flip by pressing two kick buttons and one of two directions, and the move differs depending on said direction. Away front flip will have RASHID jump slightly up into the air, hardly covering any distance. This can be used to just get a nice little cross up or jump in without telegraphing too much to your opponents. Forward front flip will send RASHID jumping practically the same distance he's already covered. This can be used to cover the distance, especially if the opponent rolls the landing. But really though, while all this can add some crazy movement shenanigans, the side flip is the most powerful of these tools. Adding that side switch off your DI is really powerful, and it can kill frames to get you a rush attack that will either force the block or an invincible wake up. Also, it's whirlwind affected. Now onto the normals. Starting with the lights, we have Standing Light Punch. This has a fast startup, decent range, is safe on block, and is special cancelable to boot. It can also link into itself up to 3 times out the box, and on rush can link into your go-to combo starters. Crouching Light Punch, while being slightly slower, super stubby with the same amount of block safety, has slightly more hit stun, and on rush can even link into some heavy hitting normals. What's more, out the box it will link into all of its lighty friendos, and is a great extra hit in some light strings. Oh yeah, it's special cancelable too. Best not forget that. Crouching light kick is a cheeky little low with some decent range. Like a lot of lows in this game, it isn't special cancelable, but links into the moves that are. Again, it's safe on block and on rush can be a real nuisance. Mediums now, and we start with the target combo, rising kick, stemming off the standing medium punch. The full string while having a super fast startup is death on block, with the initial standing medium punch being advantageous. Both attacks are special cancelable though, meaning that heavy kick finisher can actually be made safer. On hit, however, it becomes a launcher. Not one you can really combo from without the use of drive and specials, but it's the Liu Kang launcher for those of you who are familiar with MK1. The hard to open with but go-to combo starter. This will be in almost every combo you use. Setups, damage, they all stem from this one string. His crouching medium punch is advantageous on block, equally as fast as standing medium punch, special cancelable, and is a bit of an anti-air tool. Not a great one, but it's the only safe one we've got. Next up, we have the unique attack, flapping spin or forward medium punch. This 2-hit attack is special cancelable on the first hit only. It's just safe on block and can link into your standing lights on rush or punish. But its biggest boon, apart from that hefty amount of gap closing, is the initial hit's juggling property. This means it can catch a juggle state opponent and cancel into something without the need of rush. This is big in the corner for damage, or depending on the move, a great tool mid-screen. Standing medium kick is that standard long range poke we've seen before. For range, and this one has some slight gap closing. Just safe on block, but it has a few uses up close that some of the others didn't really have. For one, it links very well from a rush standing light punch, and because of its hit stun can link into the standing medium punch straight out the box. This means you can squeeze that extra bit of damage out during certain rush combos, or just have a great starter if you catch the opponent close enough for that standing medium punch to hit. It can also, on counter rush or punish, link into crouching medium kick, the slightly quicker, slightly stubbier poke tool. This one is actually negative on hit and unsafe on block, but it's special cancelable and can rush into your standing medium kick for great returns. This will be scaled heavily though, but if it means you can take the corner or close the game out, more power to you. Thank you once again for your everlasting patience. We now move on to the heavies, starting with standing heavy punch, a nice fur ranged OK speed attack that is unsafe on block but special cancelable, and on rush or punish can link into crouching heavy punch, a long range super cancelable poke that can cancel into all 3 levels of super. It's death on block, but there's a bit of a pushback to keep you safe at any range that isn't point blank, and on rush or punish can link back into standing heavy punch for a simple yet drive costly big damage combo loop. But honestly, I see a lot of value for that fur range super cash-in. You can easily take 1/4 of the opponent's health just by poking with this and going for the cheeky level 1. It's not a bad option to have. Now his forward heavy punch, Break Assault, is your overhead for this evening. Safe on block, can't be cancelled, but the rush version gives you enough advantage to link into your target combo. But let's dial things back a bit. Now when this thing hits meaty, that is when the active frames and the opponent's recovery frames overlap, we get enough advantage to get a cheeky standing light punch off. What's more, we can easily time this off a throw in the corner. This can be utilised in part of Rashid's throw loops, as the movement is almost the same pace, not straight 1-to-1, but that little jump from the dash can work wonders, as if they have a knee-jerk reaction to try and tech it, you're gonna get a hefty meaty counter. No way is this foolproof, as they can just go for a parry and almost guarantee a perfect, but if your opponent parries during a throw loop, they are either the best reader in the game or have never been in a throw loop before. No, the smart thing would to be use invincibility frames, but most of the time that's going to give them a slight advantage, made less so if you roll backwards. So yeah, it's not a bad option to use, and there's more ways to work these meaties, but let's press on. Standing heavy kick is technically your go-to range check, as while it may be negative on hit and unsafe on block, the pushback kinda makes up for it, so long as you're not point blank. But that isn't why we're talking about it. No, this has some juggle potential. They go into a juggle state, and you can use this to extend that juggle slightly. In fact, it's one of your better drive impact follow-ups in the corner. Use standing medium punch into standing heavy kick, and the pop-up there will give you some good options. Yet it's the punish that makes this king, as the attack will pop the opponent up with enough airtime to land a cheeky little super. Finally, his forward heavy kick, crescent kick, is another gap closing tool that, while only really strong on the counter or punish, has a fair amount of active frames that once again can mean a meaty connection. Quick example, after a sweep you can throw out a standing light punch to kill some frames, setting up for a meaty crescent kick. This is still negative on block and beaten by everything Break Assault was beaten by, but just like Break Assault, on hit will give enough frame advantage to land a light, and if they tried to throw out a button, will allow you to land your target combo thanks to the added counter. Okay, it's once again time for the jump-in lightning round. Now both jump-in lights are pretty good for air-to-air, with the jumping light kick edging things out. Jumping medium punch is also okay for air-to-air and places the opponent in a juggle state, plus it can be special cancelled, so is okay for some combo extensions. Jumping medium kick is your cross-up tool, jumping heavy punch is pretty fast for a heavy, spikes the opponent to the floor air-to-air, hits twice and is just a great jumping tool. Then there's jumping heavy kick, which is your more commonly used jumping tool because of the reach. Also, it's a good safe jump tool, more on that later. Now RASHID has 3 special jumping options, each are worth their slot. First, he is one of the very few who has a jump-in throw, sticks to the same side and knocks the opponent just out of throw loop distance in the corner, but it's fast and creates some space if need be, plus human skateboard. Jumping down heavy punch, or blitz strike, will only work on forward jumps, and will have you spring over your opponent on hit or block. In the corner, this gives you a double jump attack, and it's best to use the jump in heavy punches, as the frame advantage can lead into one of your best damage dealing combos on hit. It also can be another safe jump option, but again, I'll talk about that later. Lastly, aerial shot, the jumping up heavy kick, only works on the vertical jump, and can kinda be useful air to air, but nah, its real purpose is off drive impacts, as it will launch the opponent up higher than any normal has done before, allowing for some cheeky combos and setups. Again, more on that when we talk about the specials, which is now, and we start off with Whirlwind Shot, your projectile. This sends a small cyclone out to the opponent that will rise in height the further away it travels. All have the standard varying levels of block safety, the further you are, the safer you are, and range depends on the version used. Light version travels full screen, but the arc means that it will only connect full screen if the opponent jumps. The medium version just connects at starting distance, while the heavy version didn't get the memo that it's a ranged projectile and just travels up. In fact, it's only the OD version that stays on the ground, and being an OD projectile has 2 hits, and in this instance will pop the opponent up on hit, becoming a full combo extender off the target combo. But we ain't done. Every one of these attacks are chargeable, with the full charge increasing the hits dealt and forming our Whirlwind. Now it has to be fully charged for this buff to come out. There is a sweet spot that gets you the extra hits, but no Whirlwind, and that is used for combo corner extensions. But for the most part, when we have the freedom to do so, we fully charge and let her rip. Speaking of which, our next special is Spinning Mixer. Rashid's Dragon Punch. This move again changes depending on the version used, and all have a fairly decent startup, but that ain't all, as they are all enhanced by the Whirlwind. The light version keeps Rashid on the ground, yet hardly covers any distance. However, it's safe on block, so any stupidly death on block cancelable strings now have a go-to safety ender. When riding the wind, Rashid will travel beyond full screen, becoming a tornado of influencing death. On block you become advantageous, and on hit you have enough frame advantage to link into standing light punch, making it a surprisingly good combo extender. The medium version is an anti-air, sending Rashid diagonally forwards. Death on block, but covers starting distance, and when riding the wind, this travels further and hits lower, granting you a better connection, albeit still death on block. Really, this is more of a mid-screen combo ender. You pop the opponent up and finish with some good frame advantage to get some Oki or anti-wake up pressure on. Now the heavy version is the true anti-air. While medium can do the job, heavy seems to excel in it. Only travels vertically up but has a faster startup, making it connect and cancel out jump-ins a lot more reliably. It also, because of that startup, becomes a powerful ender, as you can finish potential strings that you wouldn't have been able to do if you used the medium. In fact, this is key to some of your meterless damage off a drive impact in the corner. Finally, the OD version is the medium version with the heavy startup, plus it's invincible on that startup, making it your go-to anti-pressure tool. Not one you should throw out all the time, as it's very death on block, as all invincible dragon punches should be. It's not much of an ender either though. It offers the least amount of recovery advantage, so you can't set up anything major, and at a point where you can't really kill that much frames to get anything going. Like, you can dash forward and go for a standing medium punch, but that's probably your best bet. It's really just an anti-pressure tool. But when riding the wind, it does give you an option at the peak of your attack to cancel into our next special, Arabian SKYHIGH, a mid-air kick that allows for some unique aerial movements. It's classed as a tiger knee, so you can input the move on a quarter circle back motion and finish with the forward jump and kick button, allowing you to perform the move slightly off the ground. Each version increases the height you jump, but has a slower swing as the versions ramp up. For the normal versions, you can also follow up with a jumping attack. This allows for some interesting movement jump based shenanigans, either off your movement skills like forward flip, wall jump, or from a wind riding OD mixer. Now the OD version is a bit different, as it has its own built-in follow-up that will bounce the opponent on the floor. This has enough height to connect your forward medium punch, and thus allows for some extensions or enders. Our penultimate skill is Arabian Cyclone, and grab some coffee, cause we're gonna be a while. There's a lot to unpack with this one move. I could probably make an entire video of this in itself. I'm not going to do that though. So this attack unleashes a kick that creates a whirlwind in front of Rashid. This whirlwind looks like the projectile, but as JP's amnesia can assure, it's definitely not. No, it's freaking physical, and each version is pretty much the same, only speeds and outcomes differ. Light's the fastest, but also has the shortest recovery advantage. Medium is slower, but more advantageous. However, both will combo from medium attacks or greater. No lights unless it's off a rush or punish. Now the heavy is the slowest, so slow you can't combo into it from any heavy that isn't rush or punish. But it will also knock the opponent into the air on hit, and is the only version safe on block. The OD version has the medium startup with the heavy's pop-up, but it has better recovery. Death on block though, but its big boon is that it creates a whirlwind to ride. This can lead into a great screen carry from startup. Land that target combo, cancel into the OD version, and then Rashid will recover fast enough to use his run into the wind riding Tempest Moon. That will pop the opponent up enough to connect your medium, or better yet heavy, spinning mixer. But we've only scratched the surface. You see, Arabian Cyclone has a secret. It's actually a pseudo stance attack. as when you use it at any version, you have two branching options. Forward kick will perform rolling assault, one of Rashid's old V skills. This forward roll can either be left as is or further extended with another classic, nail assault, a kick that is universal on damage, hit advantage and block advantage, and is level 3 super cancelable. Rolling assault and in turn nail assault is a powerful tool as it adds a few things. First, the rolling aspect turns that heavy cyclone into advantageous on block. They block the cyclone, you roll, it's your turn. But Tech, I hear you ask, can't they just interrupt cyclone before it comes out? And to that I say very good, as you are right. Heavy cyclone can easily be interrupted from any block string attempt, but we have a workaround. See, the target combo is a full string. They can't interrupt, but as we know, it's cancelable on both inputs. And it's very hard to interrupt something when you are expecting a full string to come out. So you cancel that standing medium punch into heavy cyclone into rolling assault to catch them out. It's not going to work all the time, but it's an easy way to make it your turn. The roll can also add some meterless combo options, as it will kill enough frames and carry Rashid enough of a distance for you to use medium or heavy spinning mixer. Medium for the mid screen, heavy for the corner. The final tool it has up its sleeve is the Oki setup. So if you were to cancel the target combo into heavy cyclone and proceed to nail assault off the juggle in the corner, you will have a sweet spot into the recovery that does two things. First, we can go for our safety jumps, the art of using a jump attack that lines up with the recovery. That one will land a hit if the opponent does anything like get up, block, or even go for a normal reversal, allowing you to either go for combos or block strings, maintaining your turn, or if they go for the invincible wake up, the now whiffed due to the iframe safe jump gives you enough time to block or parry their wake up, thus maintaining your turn. So jumping heavy kick or down heavy punch are the perfect safe jumps here. Similar, you can use OD Arabian Cyclone the moment you recover from nail assault to add a jack ton of advantage pressure, as no matter what they will recover into the cyclone. This means on hit you can just go again, and on block you can go for any attack you want to try and open them up. Now this can work with heavy cyclone, but there is one problem with that. This whole Arabian Cyclone concept is super susceptible to invincibility wake-ups, so you're going to get DP'd out of that pressure. But not with the OD version, as that short recovery alongside the large advantage window from nail assault give you time to block or parry said wake up. Now a lot of DPs will push you out of the OD whirlwind range, but you'll still be able to rinse and repeat with the advantage that they now know that won't work a second time. Still, it's only this setup that this works with. Any other option, it makes no difference whether you use heavy or OD. That means heavy's Oki option still has some uses, as you can use it and then go into the second branch, the away kicks wind stroke. This has Rashid legit ride the wind, offering you the chance to do your jumping attacks. Still has a big ass gap, but this is another cheeky setup and has a lot of potential. First, it allows you to fully charge your whirlwind shot from your target into heavy cyclone combo, which again is susceptible to invincibility, but only pure invincibility. If they have no drive and only physical invincibility supers, you get full hits and a hefty combo off the light mixer, either mid-screen or in the corner. Second, due to the frame advantage, you can also time normals to kill frames in order to get some naughty meaties. Off the top of my head, we have standing medium kick killing enough frames to meaty your forward heavy punch, and while not meaty per se, you can kill frames with standing heavy kick and delay for a throw, or use forward heavy kick to get a strong frame trap, as if they try to grab on instinct, that's a free counter. Now again, they can just block, but it's still safe for you. The only real out is again invincibility, but we have something there as well. With the same frame kill, we can use sidestep to evade any wake up option. Hey guys, Post Tech here, and I just remembered one more thing. If you go for the light Sky High as your heavy wind stroke ender, that'll be another setup for a meaty forward heavy punch. So yeah, good to know. back to the show. But that isn't even the main course. No. You see, we have to go back to our heavy cyclone Oki to get into this. Okay, so after any of your enders really, you can go into heavy cyclone and use wing stroke to create a mix-up with either heavy kick or light punch. You see, heavy kick is an overhead, short and simple, but light punch will always miss off wind stroke, placing you onto the floor a lot quicker and allowing you to go for your crouching light kick as an opener. Now it's again not foolproof. They can just drive impact or iframe out of it, but if they don't have enough meter to risk it, they have to block. There's still a gap from the light punch's whiff that is easily snuffed out by many of your opponent's attacks, but again it's hard to do so when the heavy kick will counter their offense. Trust me, it's pretty good when you get that rhythm going. Finally, for the specials, we look at Eagle Spike, a Liu Kang style flying kick that is universally death on block, but the properties and damage alter depending on the version. Light has the shortest startup, shortest travel, and shortest frame advantage, but can combo off his crouching medium kick in a pinch. Medium Spike covers starting distance and has a much better hit advantage. In fact, comboing off standing heavy punch sets up a full charged wind shot of your choice. The heavy version travels full screen with a lot of pace. What's more, it has a huge amount of screen carry at the cost of being so slow, you ain't landing this off anything that isn't a rush or punish heavy. In fact, there are very limited combos for this move, one being the target combo into heavy spike in the corner. Still, that advantage can be useful. In fact, that very combo has a safe jump setup with one movement option, a simple backdash. This gets you into perfect safe jump timing. It is also strong off the drive impact mid-screen. Hit a punishing drive impact, and so long as you are close enough to go for the vertical jump in heavy kick, you can then time that forward medium punch to juggle and cancel that first hit into heavy spike. If you are within the side closest to the opponent's corner, this will take them to that corner with a buck ton of recovery. In fact, it's almost on par with Wing Stroke's heavy kick finisher from before. Lastly, the OD version is the heavy version with medium startup. Travels full screen, but this will pop the opponent up while switching sides if you are close, to which you can follow up with the light spike for decent damage. And once again, these moves can ride the wind. Doesn't change much, but there's some major uses. Light is a little faster moving and covers medium's range. The rest all cover full screen, with the medium and heavy having the interesting feature on hit to spring back to practically full screen. Not great if you're keeping the offense, but has some uses if you catch them on punish. As while riding the wind, the medium and more importantly the heavy spikes will send the opponent rolling, to which you can follow up with a heavy or better yet, OD spike. Now the OD spike, like the light, won't go back full screen on hit, but will pop the opponent that slightly bit higher. Not enough to get any value on it on its own, but it's a very strong option if you had a way of riding the wind more than once. You know where I'm gonna go with this, don't you? Well, not just yet, as it's time for the supers, starting with his level 1 super, the Super RASHID kick, an interesting flying super kick that changes depending on how it's landed. If it lands max range or if the opponent's in the air, it will be a bog standard diagonal version of his Eagle Spike. Decent damage, but not amazing. However, if done closer to a grounded opponent, RASHID will switch sides with a more damaging and more cinematic kick. And to be honest, I am not a fan. I don't like situational damage nerfs. Like, sure, this is your get out of jail tool, so the side switch makes sense on defense, as does the idea of not losing the corner during your juggles. But Ken deals with that exact issue with his level 1 at no damage cost. So personally, I would just rather keep the cinematic version for both air and ground and take the side switch, but yeah, defense or ender. Next is his level 2 Yisar. RASHID's V-trigger now upgraded to Super. This is your utility super, acting as both combo extender and buff. conjuring a giant tornado that will travel full screen, and as I said on hit, will pop the opponent up for combos. This also acts as a whirlwind, so for the duration it is out and a wee bit after it hits, you can ride the wind, adding to what I was speaking about before with Eagle Spike. So rewind back to that punishing wind riding heavy spike, and as Rashid lands you can buffer out the level 2 super, which as you recover you can go for the OD spike, and this will ride your Tsar and pop the opponent up higher than before, allowing a second OD spike, all while the tornado comes in. It's very situational, but honestly not difficult to pull off once you land it. Finally we have his level 3 Altair. And as usual with level 3s, there's not a lot to say. Big dick damage gets bigger, under 25% health. Now its biggest boon is that it has a very large hitbox, and can be comboed into from most of his go-to enders, especially Nail Assault. This adds a naughty end to a lot of mix-up potential, and to be honest, that is Rashid's appeal, as overall, this dude is a absolute blender, not only for his human Beyblade special, but for the fact that he has so many ways to mix you up mid-screen or more substantially in the corner, and not in a way that he's going to be mining salts. In fact, he has a few glaring issues. First and foremost, his whirlwind buff is shit. It only really lasts a second, and in mid-screen or against someone with no invincible special, it sees a lot more play. But when you have that invincible wake up, things are too out of Rashid's favour. Sure, you getting DP'd out of a charged whirlwind shot is fine, that was a gamble, but the opponent iframing out of your corner setup again would be fair, as you are able to block and punish. However, the move pushes you away from the whirlwind, and a lot of these attacks make the opponent airborne, to a way that everything ends up locking him out by the time they land for you to have a strong punish option. Sure, for a good chunk of characters you can still get a wind riding heavy spike punish. For a lot of the more popular characters, they're the ones that push you away, so the people you are going to fight mostly online are not going to have that worry. Second, he has little to no reach, and the moves that do reach end up being just pokes. Only 2 of his far-reaching moves are special cancelable, one of them nerfing your damage for starting a combo with it, which is kind of universal, but for Rashid you notice it a lot more. And that's the thing when playing Rashid you've got to be mindful of. You have to make his range work. You know you only need one good connection to potentially take the corner. Then you can work your mix-ups and Oki. Get used to his throw loops. This can be for any fighter, but Rashid's throws open a lot of doors to get the ball rolling. And don't be disheartened when they do DP out of your setups. It's gonna happen. Just be ready to get your turn back, and remember, they only have 3 of those at best. If you get that pressure back on, they're gonna be in trouble. Keep these in mind and you'll show that heroes are always supposed to make a grand entrance. And if you guys want to help my grand entrances continue, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, Altair the bell thingy, and follow me on the social medias. Also, if you have any tips and tricks yourself, or just want to let me know who's your favourite character or who you want to see next, let us know in the comment section below, and finally tune in next time where we will go with another random character. But until that day, this has been Techno Odin. Stay safe, claim skulls, smash bosses, and break records.
Started from the bottom and I'll never look back.